Welcome to the 700 Club. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will deliver a major speech to Congress today. While it's billed as a joint address, many seats on the Democrat side of the aisle will be empty.
Vice President Kamala Harris will also be skipping the speech. This reflects the deep division in the Democrat Party over support for the State of Israel. CBN's chief political analyst David Brody reports.
When Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu arrived in the U.S. this week, no administration officials showed up to greet him. Vice President and soon-to-be presidential nominee Kamala Harris also chose a campaign event over attending Netanyahu's speech to Congress, something vice presidents typically do.
I'm not surprised that some of the more radical members of the Democratic Conference may boycott, but it's shameful when their top leadership is so willing to abandon a key ally.
This is due to a party in deep division over Israel. Even longtime supporters like Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer have backed away from the current Israeli government.
The Netanyahu coalition no longer fits the needs of Israel after October 7th.
The shift has been growing for years. In 2001, just 18% of Democrats nationwide sympathized with the Palestinians. Now, that number up to 38%. And in today's war between Israel and Hamas, more than half of Democrats, 53%, believe Israel is committing genocide against Palestinian civilians. Former New York State Assemblyman Dov Hikind says his former party is now unrecognizable.
I was a Democrat as an elected official for 36 years, but and now I'm a Republican, and it's obvious why. Because the Democratic Party has abandoned Israel.
And on Wednesday, there will be dozens of empty Democrat seats when Netanyahu speaks as a protest against Israel's war effort. Some have said they'll disrupt his address.
They don't want to show up, don't show up. The show will go on, the applause will go on. Netanyahu will present the reality of what Israel is faced with.
While the Biden administration is taking criticism for not being more supportive of Israel, the loudest voices in this intra-party division are coming from far-left members.
There are a few anti-Israel voices that have emerged in this party, just as there are in the Republican Party. We're doing our best to combat those voices, to make sure that they don't build more support from other members, but also to defeat them.
Mark Mellman's group Democratic Majority for Israel helped already defeat one anti-Israel member of Congress, Jamal Bowman, who lost his New York primary. Now they're targeting Congressional Squad member Cori Bush in Missouri. Mellman says that while defeating anti-Israel members of Congress is important, there's a major PR battle to be won, especially among younger liberals.
There's no question that a lot of young people particularly have been taken in by this misinformation. Those young people are going to become a majority, and those older people are going to be gone. And the reality is we have to make sure that those younger people in the population at large are as supportive of Israel as their parents and grandparents were.
If that's the goal, then the polling suggests mainstream pro-Israel Democrats have their work cut out for them. David Brody, CBN News, Washington.
Well, all of us who support Israel, all of us who stand with Israel have our work cut out for us. And you just have to look at the ratios. The pro-Palestinian posts on TikTok and Instagram outnumber the pro-Israel posts 54-1. Those are ratios that over time, if you have a deluge of pro-Palestinian sentiment, how do you stand against that? When you dig into it, when you go to protesters on Columbia campus or University of Pennsylvania campus and you ask them, well, when you're chanting from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free, what river are you talking about? And they can't name the Jordan River. When you say, what sea, they will say, well, maybe the Red Sea, or they won't identify it as the Mediterranean. They don't even know that they're calling for the complete elimination of Israel and the death of every single Jew living there. Realize the war we're in. It's not just a war of terror. It's not just about October 7th. Israel's existence is at stake. For the architect of October 7th, Yahya Sinwar, from a tunnel in Gaza, what he is saying currently, this isn't months ago, currently, I have Israel right where I want them. He didn't care about the people of Gaza. He didn't care that even his own family was going to be in a tunnel in Gaza. He didn't care about any of that. He has been dedicated his whole life to eliminating Israel. That's the genocide. And for 53% of Democrats to say they believe Israel's trying to commit genocide, they are severely misinformed. Let's get the good news out there. Let's talk about Israel as the only democracy in the Middle East. Let's talk about Israel as the place where all religions are thriving. It's the only country in the Middle East where the Christian population is actually growing. For Muslims, they have rights to all their holy sites. They have rights to the Temple Mount, which is unbelievably significant when you understand where that is in Jewish history. For them to say it's an apartheid state, at the same time they have complete rights to vote. Muslim members of the Knesset are voting this week, and you know, how has truth been turned on its head? Let's get out there with the correct news, with the correct view, the view based and informed by history, that the Palestinians have never wanted peace, and the whole stage has been set for them to wipe Israel off the map. That has been their goal since 1948. Let's recognize that. And it was a phrase developed by Israeli politicians back in the 1960s. The Arabs never miss an opportunity to miss an opportunity. They have never wanted peace. After the '67 war, Israel offered all the land back. The West Bank, the Temple Mount, they offered it back. What did they want in exchange? They wanted peace. They wanted recognition. And in Khartoum, in Sudan, the Arab nations got together and they came out with the three no's. No peace, no recognition, no Israel. They don't want Israel to exist. Let's have that be the message to the world, and in that message, realize America needs to stand with Israel.